Do you want a thick, dense back? Chances are you're making one or more of these mistakes and they're holding you back. Don't worry, I'll not only break down why your back isn't growing, but also give you simple solutions you can start applying today. So let's get into it. Number one, you're keeping your shoulders back. The problem with keeping your shoulders pulled back during rows prevents your scapula from fully protracting and retracting, limiting the range of motion and back activation. So, to fix this, let your shoulders protract forward at the bottom of the row, then pull them back as you row. Focus on a full stretch and contraction. Number two, you're curling the weight with your arms. The problem with this is you rely on your biceps instead of your back during pulling movements. To fix this, focus on driving with your elbows. Think about pulling your elbows back towards your hips, not pulling with your hands. Think about someone had a rope tied to your elbow and they're lifting your elbow straight up. Number three, you're shrugging with your traps. The problem with this is over recruiting your traps during rows or pull downs takes tension off of your lats and mid back. Fix this, keep your traps down and relaxed as you initiate the pull, and imagine tucking your shoulder blades to your back pockets. Number four, you're using too much weight. The problem with going too heavy forces you to rely on momentum and other muscles like your traps or lower back. To fix this, lighten the weight and use a controlled tempo. Focus on strict form to maximize your back engagement. Number five, you're doing face pulls when you're a beginner. The problem with face pulls is that they're great for rear delts, but they're just not going to build the back thickness that you're looking for, and beginners often over prioritize them. To fix this, focus on the foundational lifts like rows and pull ups before adding these accessory, more isolation type movements like face pulls. Number six, you're focused too much on optimization instead of strength. The problem with obsessing over perfect biomechanics without building basic strength just won't grow your back. To fix this, stick with simple, proven lifts and progressively overload them. Get strong first and then fine tune later. Number seven, you're not trying new lifts. The problem with sticking to the same back exercises is that it will just limit your back growth over time. To fix this, rotate in a new variation like pendlay rows, chest supported rows, or T-bar rows about every 8 to 12 weeks. Number eight, you're switching exercises too frequently. So, in contrast to the last problem, you're changing exercises too frequently, which just prevents you from mastering the form and progressing with that lift and progressing it to get strong at it. To fix this, stick to a core set of back exercises for again about 8 to 12 weeks to build up the strength in those lifts and build the consistency to reap the rewards from them. Number 9, you're not doing enough volume. The problem with this is that back muscles need sufficient volume to grow, and you're not doing enough sets or reps to hit the volume that your back needs to grow. To fix this, aim for at least 10 working sets for horizontal pulling per week, split across 2 to 4 sessions. I give a big range here because I find the back can handle more volume compared to also other muscle groups, and this is going to be completely personal to you. Number 10, your intensity is too low. The problem with leaving too many reps in the tank means you're not challenging your back enough to grow. To fix this, just simply train closer to failure. If not to failure, go beyond failure for most lifts. Number 11, you're always training back last or at least in the middle of your session. The problem with training your back at the end of your workout or after other muscle groups means that you're too fatigued to train it in a fresh state. To fix this, train your back first in your workout or at least before other muscles you would do before, or you could even dedicate specific sessions to it. Number 12, you avoid heavy hip hinge movements. The problem is that deadlifts, Romanian deadlifts, and good mornings are hard, but they will build thick spinal erectors, which will absolutely add to your back thickness. To fix this, just incorporate at least one heavy hip hinge movement into your routine every single week. Number 13, you have weak spinal erectors. The problem with weak spinal erectors is that it makes barbell rows and other heavy lifts harder to perform correctly. Fix this, strengthen your lower back with exercises like hyperextensions, reverse hypers, and back extensions. Number 14, you don't train your lower back. Again, the problem with blaming your lower back fatigue without actually training it weakens your overall back development. To fix this, train your lower back consistently. Start with lighter loads and gradually build up, just like with anything. Training your lower back doesn't have to be hard or dreadful, but it's a necessary thing that you must do to get a bigger back. Number 15, you're not eating enough calories. The problem without getting enough calories, your body just doesn't have the fuel to grow muscle. To fix this, simply eat in a slight caloric surplus and with adequate amount of protein, probably anywhere from 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. Number 16, you only use machines. The problem is that machines can limit stabilizer muscle activation, and overall, this can lead to just poor back development. To fix this, simply incorporate free weights like barbells and dumbbells into your routine to get more compound movements. Number 17, you never use momentum. The problem is being overly strict with form can limit your ability to move heavier weights. To fix this, use controlled momentum for cheat reps at the end of a set to overload your back safely. Number 18, you always use momentum. The problem when you swing the weight is that it eliminates back tension, and this can also just increase the risk of injury. To fix this, use momentum sparingly. Focus on controlled reps for most of your sets and let an overload set and use it as an extension of the set to do cheating to where you're trying to get a few more reps when you're ending a set. Number 19, you think deadlifting is enough. The problem is that deadlifts are great, but they don't target the mid back and lats as effectively as rows. They may have worked when you were a beginner, but they probably won't work forever. That's just the hard truth on that. To fix this, and if you are still wanting to do deadlifts, that's fine, but pair your deadlift with horizontal pulling exercises like a row for complete back development. Number 20, you're not bracing properly. The problem is that a weak brace reduces stability and limits the weight that you can lift safely and effectively. To fix this, take a deep breath into your stomach and brace your core hard before every lift. Just because you can't see your back in the mirror and you might not be able to feel it as well doesn't mean that you shouldn't be bracing intentionally and going hard on every set you do for back. Number 21, you're not using a variety of grips. The problem with only sticking with one grip, for example, overhand grip, it'll just limit your back engagement because you could have been experimenting with other grips and maybe it targeted the lats differently or targeted your upper back differently or your lower back differently. To fix this, just simply mix up your grips, try underhand, neutral, or even mixed grips to target different parts of your back. Number 22, you're not adjusting your range of motion. The problem is that partial reps can limit stretch and contraction, while excessive range of motion may compromise form. To fix this, use a full controlled range of motion, ensuring both a deep stretch and a strong contraction on every rep. Number 23, you neglect rear delt training. The problem is that weak rear delts can leave your upper back looking flat and underdeveloped. To fix this, incorporate exercises like rear delt flies or reverse pec deck to balance out your upper back. Keep in mind there's some nuance here if you're a beginner. And I said earlier, doing the face pulls is unnecessary. That is true. But maybe doing some wide grip, heavy rows, those will absolutely just demolish your rear delts. But as you progress forward, it is something that you definitely have to train to get that full thick back look that you're after. Number 24, you're over focused on one muscle group. The problem with too much emphasis on, say, your lats or just your traps can leave the rest of your back lagging. I'm sure we've all seen someone who's had just super juicy traps, but then they have no lats, or they have really wide lats, really thick lats, and their traps are just flat. To fix this, just include a mix of exercises that targets all of your back muscles. You want to independently train your lats, your traps, your rhomboids, spinal erectors, everything. Don't leave anything out. Number 25, you don't warm up properly. The problem with jumping straight into a heavy lift without priming your back will reduce performance and it could increase the risk for injury. To fix this, just perform activation drills like band pull aparts or light rows to get your back muscles firing before the heavy set. Personally, just like to do the whatever lift I'm about to do and I just build up with weight. I will also do band pull aparts and things like that. Now that you know the reasons your back isn't thick and how to fix them, it's time to assess what you could work on. Apply these tips, and over time, I guarantee you will start to see results. Leave a comment letting me know which tip you'll focus on first. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.